Turin, May 28, 1898. A lawyer named Secondo Pia lowers a glass photographic plate into developer. He has just photographed an old burial cloth in the cathedral. In the tray, a face is surfacing. A negative should reverse the world. Light for dark, a ghost. Instead, a face looks back. No one has proven how it got onto the cloth. This is his actual plate. The first photograph of the Shroud of Turin, the night an old cloth became an open case. Pia wrote afterward that, shut in his darkroom, he felt a very strong emotion when the holy face appeared on the plate before him. A photograph of a negative reads as a positive, so the image on this linen is itself a negative, made centuries before anyone knew what a negative was. The object is one linen sheet, 14 feet of herringbone twill, carrying the faint front and back imprint of a naked, crucified man. The wounds read like a Roman execution record, scourge marks shaped like a flagrum, punctures ringing the scalp, pierced wrists and feet, an open side. The sheet holds two imprints, front and back, laid head to head, a body placed on one half, the cloth folded over the crown to cover him. 14 feet of testimony in a single weave. Believers call it the burial cloth of Jesus of Nazareth. Skeptics call it the most brilliant forgery of the Middle Ages. For 6 centuries, this cloth has been on trial. The paper trail begins around 1355 in the French village of Léré. There, the family of a knight, Geoffroy de Charny, displayed it to pilgrims. The pilgrim's badge survives from those first showings. Cheap cast lead, stamped with the cloth held wide by 2 clerics. It sits today in a Paris museum case, the oldest surviving witness that crowds once came. In 1389, Bishop Pierre d'Arcis wrote to the Pope that the cloth was cunningly painted. He added that a predecessor had found the painter, who confessed, "It is the skeptic's strongest document," then read the document. It survives as an unsigned, undated draft. It names no artist, records no trial, and no confession has ever been found. Read it the way a lawyer would. An allegation in draft, never signed, never dated, naming no artist, with no trial and no confession on record. Keep it on the table anyway. Honest cases keep their hardest exhibit in view. On the night of December 3rd, 1532, fire gutted the chapel at Chambéry. The silver reliquary melted, and molten metal burned through the folded cloth. Molten silver burned through one corner of the folded bundle, so the scars repeat down the cloth in mirrored pairs, an inkblot record of the disaster. Water quenched it. Between the burn lines, the image itself survived untouched. Doused and dragged out, the shroud survived by inches. In 1534, poor Clare nuns patched the burns. Remember those scorch marks. They will testify later. In 2002, the patches finally came off. Textile conservator Mechtilde Fleury Lemberg unstitched the nuns' repairs, measured the whole sheet, and photographed what 4 centuries of sewing had hidden. The scars now testify uncovered. In 1578, the cloth came to Turin, where it rests today. Pia, accused of doctoring his plates, waited 33 years until Giuseppe Enri reshot the cloth in 1931. The same face developed. In May 1931, a professional stepped in. Giuseppe Enri mounted a new photographic campaign under formal supervision. Fresh plates, sharper lenses, witnesses at his elbow. Nothing left for an accuser to doubt. The face came back again, finer than before. Enri's plates are the record this film keeps returning to. 33 years after one man's darkroom, the answer developed in another man's tray. 1976, physicists John Jackson and Eric Jumper slide an Enri print under a VP8 image analyzer, an analog instrument that converts brightness into height. Ordinary photographs collapse into distorted relief on that machine. The shroud rose into coherent 3-dimensional terrain. Brightness on this cloth tracks the distance between body and linen. Note what the VP8 was not. Not an exotic machine, not built for this cloth. A general-purpose analog image analyzer sold to whoever paid for one. An ordinary instrument, fed an ordinary photograph, returned an extraordinary geometry. No painting was known to behave that way. So in October 1978, the church handed scientists the cloth itself for 5 days and nights. The Shroud of Turin research project, some 24 researchers, 120 hours of direct access, X-ray fluorescence, ultraviolet light, spectrometry, tape samples lifted from the fibers. 5 days, around 120 hours of access, X-ray fluorescence to read the elements. ultraviolet lamps to make the surface answer. Adhesive tape lifts cataloged fiber by fiber and carried home in sealed cases. Ultraviolet light gave the case its control experiment. The 1532 burn margins fluoresce reddish under the lamps. The body image does not fluoresce at all. Whatever made this image did not mark the cloth the way fire marks cloth. Their published conclusion stands in one sentence. No pigments, paints, dyes, or stains have been found on the fibrils, and the color itself keeps refusing categories. It rides only the topmost fibrils of each thread, a skin of color hundreds of times thinner than a hair. No brush direction, no soak through to the back. Chemistry can say what it is not. It struggles to say what it is. A second sentence follows. It is not the product of an artist. The color rests only on the topmost fibrils of each thread, far thinner than a hair, clean linen beneath. The stains are different. They soak. Chemists Heller and Adler identified real blood and reported no image beneath the stains they sampled. Claims of type AB remain disputed. Heller and Adler pressed the stains further. Heme, serum albumin, the residues of real blood. And on the fibers they sampled, they reported no image beneath the stains. Blood first, image second, where they looked. Claims about the blood's type remain disputed. Honesty requires the dissent. Microscopist Walter Macron read the same tapes and saw red ochre and vermilion, a painting. STURP's chemist rejected his finding. He left, and the argument never died. Macron never retracted. He published his red ochre reading in his own journal, held it to the end of his life, and left the project. Science is allowed to close a chapter unresolved. This one closed exactly that way. Their final summary closed with a line scientists rarely publish. The image is an ongoing mystery, which left the sharpest tool science owns: a date. April 21st, 1988. Before witnesses, one strip is cut from one corner and divided among 3 laboratories. One corner. Remember that choice. The strip came from the cloth's edge, beside a swatch removed for testing back in 1973. The film of the cutting survives. Gloves, scissors, a strip of history weighed on a balance. Tucson, Zurich, Oxford. 3 accelerator laboratories, 1 protocol, sealed samples with control cloths beside them. Understand this plainly. It was not a rushed test. It was the state-of-the-art of 1988, performed in public view. October 13th, 1988. Cardinal Anastasio Balestrero reads the verdict in Turin. Oxford, Zurich, and Arizona combined to one calibrated range, 95% confidence, 1260 to 1390. Nature printed it with 21 authors and 1 verdict sentence. Quote, "These results therefore provide conclusive evidence that the linen of the Shroud of Turin is medieval." The morning papers needed one word: fake. Oxford's Edward Hall put it bluntly. Someone just got a bit of linen, faked it up, and flogged it. Museums relabeled. Textbooks moved on. For most of the world, the file closed in October 1988 and stayed closed. What follows is the part of the case the morning papers never printed. Be honest with this, because honesty is the price of everything that follows. The labs were competent, the method is good science, the 3 results agreed. So why is this case still open? The appeal never attacked the method, it questioned the sample. Every gram tested came from one strip, cut beside the raised corner, the edge gripped aloft through centuries of showings. Verify. Corner handling during historical expositions per period engravings. In 2005, Raymond Rogers, a Los Alamos chemist irritated by repair talk, set out to shut the theory down. He still held threads from that corner. The threads changed his mind. In Thermochimica Acta, he reported cotton spliced through the corner's linen, madder dye, and vanillin chemistry, unlike the main cloth. To Rogers, a quiet medieval repair, dated by mistake. Rogers carried a second clock, vanillin, a compound that fades from linen across the centuries. The corner thread still held it. The main cloth, he reported, did not. 2 regions of one sheet, aging on 2 different schedules. Say the next part plainly, the repair theory is itself contested. In 2010, Arizona re-examined its reserve fragment. No dye, no coating, no repair, only minor surface contaminants. Look through their microscope before you pick a side. An archive fragment from the very sampling, showing no dye, no coating, no spliced repair, only a stray cotton fiber, and a fleck of what appeared to be wax. The rebuttal is as concrete as the claim. In 2019, a reanalysis of the raw data called the measurements statistically uneven enough, its authors argued, to reconsider the result. Statisticians dispute that finding too. Then statistics joined the appeal. In 2019, the lab's raw measurements, reanalyzed, were called statistically uneven, too scattered to stand behind one clean date. Statisticians dispute that finding too. The stalemate deepened on the arithmetic itself, and in 2022, an Italian team X-rayed the flax itself. Its aging matched first-century linen from Masada. Critics answer that unrecorded heat and humidity can bend that clock. The X-ray method reads how cellulose chains break with age. Set against flax from Masada, first-century linen, the shroud's profile matched. Its own authors concede the reading bends with a heat and humidity no ledger of this cloth ever recorded. So the dating war stands in stalemate, and honest people hold both trenches. But notice what neither trench has ever explained. The image. Set belief aside and try to make this thing. 5 natural suspects lead the field. Take them weakest to strongest and let each one speak. Paint. Exactly as Bishop Darcis said, against it stands everything measured since. No brushwork, no binder. Color 1 fibril deep, encoded as a negative carrying distance. Macron's loose particles never answered that. Notice what the paint suspect must explain away. Chemists who went to this cloth looking for paint found no pigments, no brush direction, no binder speaking under ultraviolet. The bishop wrote, cunningly painted. The instruments keep answering. Painted with what? A scorch from heated metal. The fire of 1532 lets us test this directly. Under ultraviolet light, every true burn on this cloth fluoresces red. The body image does not fluoresce at all. A medieval photograph, a dark room, a lens, silver salts, a corpse hung in sunlight for days. It takes the negative seriously, but the cloth holds no silver, and history holds no such camera. A rubbing over a carved relief. Respect this one. In 2009, chemist Luigi Garlascelli produced a full-length, shroud-like negative with medieval materials. The strongest reproduction ever published. Give the strongest attempt its full day in court. Garlascelli's team rubbed pigment over a volunteer and a shallow relief, aged the linen, washed the pigment away, and unveiled a full-length figure that photographs as a negative. The wire services carried it worldwide. Then the physical exam. Shroud researchers answer that its color rides deeper than 1 fibril, and that it cannot explain blood reaching the linen first. The strongest attempt yet, still contested, like everything here. Strongest suspect of all, Roger's own idea. A Maillard reaction, vapors from a body gently browning the cloth. The same chemistry that browns bread. No miracle required, but gas diffuses and diffusion blurs, and one more arithmetic stands in the vapor's way. The image's intensity tracks the distance from cloth to body, point by point, the very property the VP8 exposed. Drifting vapor has no reason to keep that arithmetic. It has never drawn a resolved face. So score the board. Negative, 3-dimensional, 1 fibril deep, no pigment, blood first, and a date drawn from 1 contested corner. No published method has matched every property on a single cloth. The nearest match for the color came from pulses of ultraviolet laser light at Italy's Enea laboratory, tinting linen the same shallow way. A few square centimeters. The shroud holds a man. Say the Enea results scale out loud. Pulses of vacuum ultraviolet light-colored linen the shroud's shallow way across a few square centimeters. At intensities the researchers themselves say no single device delivers across 14 feet of cloth. Now hear the church precisely, because the internet gets this wrong in both directions. Rome has never ruled the shroud authentic. No pope has bound any Catholic to believe. She venerates, and leaves the science open. Standing before it on May 24, 1998, John Paul II said, "The shroud is a challenge to our intelligence." And carefully, since it is not a matter of faith, the Church has no specific competence to pronounce on these questions. And then John Paul handed the case back to the laboratories. In words worth quoting exactly, she entrusts to scientists the task of continuing to investigate, so that satisfactory answers may be found to the questions connected with this sheet. On May 2, 2010, Benedict XVI chose these words, "The shroud is an icon written in blood, the blood of a man who was scourged, crowned with thorns, crucified, and whose right side was pierced." In the same meditation, Benedict reached for the day the creed passes over in a single phrase, One could say that the shroud is the icon of this mystery, the icon of Holy Saturday, the day heaven kept silence at a tomb. So here's where 6 centuries of testimony leave you. Either a nameless medieval genius invented an art no one has fully matched and left no trace of his method, or this linen wrapped a crucified man. Return to the dark room where this case opened. A lawyer lifts a dripping plate, and a face looks back. 128 years of cameras, chemistry, and carbon later, his case is still open. John's Gospel keeps one quiet detail of that morning. He saw the linen cloths lying there, and Jesus said, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe. Go in peace, and be not afraid." And when you are ready for the case where the laboratory results came back conclusive, watch this next. Scientists tested the bread. It was human heart.